The engineering industry is always evolving with smarter solutions. Smiths India, which is a part of the historic Smiths Group, has been leading innovations in India for the past 25 years. And today, I am pleased to have the newly appointed MD of Smiths India, Vikrant Trilokekar, here with me today for ET Insights discussion. Hi, Vikrant. Thank you for joining me today for this ET Insights discussion. So, you've been with Smiths for the past 5 years. I would want you to start with, the evolution of Smiths right from its inception until now.
Sure. Thank you for that question, and thank you for having this chat, with me today. Let me give you a brief on Smiths in India. Smiths in India has been present for over 25 years, and today we design, manufacture, and deliver smarter engineering solutions that solve some of the world's toughest problems for our customers, our communities, as well as the world we live in today. It's a 170-year-old group headquartered in London. We have all four of the operating companies present in India. John Crane, Smiths Interconnect, Smiths Detection, and Smiths FlexTech. Together, we are 1,200 employees today. We're present in three primary clusters: Delhi, Pune, Bangalore. And we also have a presence geographically in 50 sales and service sites across the country. So, almost every major city has Smiths employees. As far as our history in India, very proud to have quite a few accomplishments associated with the world's largest refinery, associated with most of the important ISRO missions, including the notable moon mission Chandrayaan, where we had components from 3 out of our 4 divisions on that mission, and finally securing most of the airports and ports in this country and keeping people safe.
Right. While we're already talking about safety, why not talk about how Smiths India has been ensuring the health and safety environment in its daily operations?
Well, thank you for that question, and it's actually not a very straightforward answer, but it's something that's very near and dear to my heart, and I have always believed that safety is a pivotal management role, and safety has always been my highest priority. And I'm very proud to say that today the leadership across Smiths does have safety as the highest priority. Before I answer the question on how we've rolled out and integrated our program in India, I want to go back many years ago, about 2 decades ago, to my university days, where I was a teaching assistant in university, and I had a very clear goal from the department head, which was very simple: no recordable injuries during the semester, otherwise I could risk losing my tuition stipend.
No.
That was a clear no for me. And, at that time, it sparked my interest in health and safety. And I have always believed since the college days that health and safety is not an individual responsibility. It's a collective responsibility. It's a shared responsibility. So how did I keep my scholarship? I ensured that I divided students into small groups and rotated a chair for safety during each class, so that we created this awareness, within the team that safety had an important role to play in each and every single classroom and each and every, I would say, project that the students did. I kept the scholarship. The journey goes on, and in 2019, I inherited responsibility for Smiths detection in India. What have we done that has helped us develop such a strong safety culture? Proud to state that we've not had any recordable injuries in the last, 5 years. Very simple. Number one, getting leadership out to offices, to sites, ensuring that we're able to make that connect, share the philosophy, ensure we understand various risks and hazards, discuss openly with employees. But what's important, when you do that, is employees know that management always has their back, right? People do not hesitate to raise their hand and say, "Hey, there's a hazard. I am not able to proceed with my job." We work in a lot of areas where operations run 24/7. We have demanding customers, but safety always is prioritized first. So ensuring that every single employee knows that management always has their back, that's important. The other way, the second area where we put a lot of emphasis and focus is to ensure that while we're doing a lot of tours and we're doing a lot of checks and audits, we bring fresh sets of eyes to that. So we have managers from the south that visit sites in the north. We have managers at a particular airport or port that visit another airport or port.
Wow.
And you're able to spot things that you ordinarily don't see. A very simple example, I spent a couple of years going through this process. A very simple example is first aid boxes, where you ordinarily would look for a first aid box, and we had a manager from one of our businesses in Bangalore audit one of the other sites, and she quickly picked up that not all of the items in a first aid box that she saw were actually within their date of expiry. Some had expired. All of a sudden, go through the exercise across all our sites in the country. In the next week, we have labeling in place. Today, it exists across all of our sites. So we take these one step further with the fresh set of eyes and actually ensure that findings are immediately shared, right? Because you have to be proactive with safety, right? So ensuring that findings are immediately shared, that's an area that worked very well. I would say the third piece, back in 2019, we came to realization that Smiths today has been present for a long time. We have 4 divisions. We created a working council or a health and safety committee that had representatives from each and every division, some of the group functions, essentially try to cover most of the sites in the country from having representation. And that allowed us to have a common voice, that allowed us to have a common set of actions, that allowed us to cascade common language down the chain, that allowed us to standardize training, that allowed us to ensure that if there was a best practice in one part of the business, it could be picked up and taken to another part of the business. And today, I'm proud to say that the committee still exists, and just last month, that committee was recognized with a Smiths Group Excellence Award for the work that they've done in the last, financial year. So I would say these are some of the ways and means in which we have rolled out and we have integrated the health and safety practices. Of course, we have the KPI tracking. Of course, we have site leading indicators. But bottom line, we have a very, very clear understanding as Smiths India across all our 1,200 employees that safety is a collective responsibility. It's a
Right.
shared responsibility. We're in it together. We have to look out for ourselves. We have to look out for one other. We also have to look out for our partners and our customers.
Right.
Right. So that's very clear.
Right. So I think those were some really, innovative approaches to keep the people first. And it's incredible how Smiths India is actually taking this initiative to, look after the safety of their people. This brings to my next question. How do you maintain consistent adherence to, HSE standards across a diverse workforce? You mentioned that you have 1,200 employees. So
sure.
how do you maintain that adherence to the standards?
Sure. So we have many sites, and very simple is standardizing training, right? So just take a simple example of first aid training. We were doing first aid training, fire extinguisher training. We were using different techniques across our various sites. Put a halt to that. Health and safety committee comes up with the program. That program is rolled out across all of the sites. Coaching, awareness on various topics, mindfulness. We recently did a session on women's safety, right? Work-life balance, risk assessment, standardizing awareness, standardizing training allows us, although we have a large geography, to actually ensure that we have a very, very clear standard guideline. Number two, risk assessments, right? Ensuring that we have a dynamic risk assessment done before any kind of work has started, right? Very simple, very simple to do. It takes a few minutes, but the importance of ensuring that there's a standard approach to do that risk assessment, whether you're in the office, whether you're in a field site, whether you're in a plant, right? Ensuring that you have that discipline to do that risk assessment. In fact, in our service business for our detection division, that engineer is not able to proceed with a task unless that risk assessment, is complete and it's done in a standard way. So that's one way to ensure consistency. Third, celebrating safety together, coming together as one Smiths India organization across 1,200 people. We do that during National Safety Week, where we have, awareness sessions. We get families involved. We have competitions.
Wow.
We have global leaders sharing their perspectives on various topics. So coming together once a year for 1 week throughout the week as an organization also helps us standardize our approach. And the fourth, and I would say this is the most important one, it's that emotional connect between leaders across the organization and employees across the organization, right? It's that ability to ensure that you are able to build a culture where people come and talk to you about issues, potential hazards. And it doesn't necessarily mean people talking to their own managers, right? So it's creating that ability to be yourself and engage across the organization. I think that's the most important element of ensuring that we're able to have this kind of cultural transformation across this kind of geography.
Right. Um, let's also discuss about the core values at Smiths that guide its people and leadership. Of course, since you've been, stressing on leadership, could you highlight these values and, share which ones out of these resonate
Sure.
with you the most and why?
Sure. So values have always been near and dear to my heart, and I am really happy with the fact that the values that are deeply rooted in my DNA are also similar to the values deeply rooted in Smith's Group. Respect, integrity, ownership, passion, customer focus, right? These values are fundamental to the way we do business. These values are fundamental to ensuring that all of our employees are setting very high standards for ourselves. And actually, when I'm interviewing people and I'm bringing new employees on board, right, I am really probing into those values. Which values resonate to me the most? Well, all of the values resonate with me, but there are a couple of values that stand out, right? Let me talk about respect. I think that's very, very important for me. And a couple of the things that I've tried to do over the years to ensure that I'm setting that high standard, is to ensure that I'm actually listening to people across all of the organization, and not just listening, but sincerely hearing them out, ensuring that I understand their point of view, ensuring that we have an appreciation for something that we may not have considered yet, right? And, I'm really happy with the fact that the team across Smiths India lives up to that very high standard and ensures that we keep that in mind. The second element in respect is to ensure that you understand that everybody is different.
Right.
You and me are different, right? And each person needs to be treated differently, and ensuring that managers and leaders across the organization understand that they must take into consideration the individual preferences of various people in the organization and respect those preferences, right? So these are some of my thoughts on respect. Now, the second value that's very near and dear to me is integrity, right? Because it's really part of the moral fabric,
Right.
of an individual. It's part of the fabric at Smith's, group. And it doesn't start and end with the workplace. It's really about you, right? So, ensuring that we're doing the right thing is very important. A couple of suggestions that I have to most people in the organization, right? Set very high standard for yourself, right? And be very transparent, right? If you set that high standard, that bar, it will rub off on others. If you are transparent, you will create that transparent culture around you. You will be discussing issues that come up, and you will ensure that you do the right thing always. The second one is very simple. Follow the company values. We talked about it: integrity, respect, customer focus, passion, and ownership. You simply follow the company values, you will always make the right
Absolutely,
decision.
I think that's very important. Okay, so Smiths recently introduced these new leadership behaviors. Have these been implemented across Smiths in India? And what advice would you give to the next generation of leaders at Smiths?
Sure. So yeah, in 2000, so this is a good segue from values to behaviors. So in 2022, Smiths launched its leadership behaviors. And, essentially, while they're called leadership behaviors, right, it applies to every single employee in the organization, not just our leaders. And the intent was, if we want to build the right culture, we need to ensure that we uphold our values. How do we uphold our values? With consistent behavior across
Right.
each and every employee in the organization. We had several workshops, created ambassadors, ensured that the behaviors cascaded throughout the organization, and ensured that people understood why, the outcome, yes, is important of our actions, but it's the how also
Right.
that matters. What advice do I have, to people across Smiths, new employees, existing employees? Well, I can give lots of advice, but to help me with that, maybe I go back to a third value at Smiths, which is ownership, right? And I encourage people to own their career, to own their destiny, right? And why is that important? We talked about culture,
Right.
right? We talked about ensuring that we create that great culture, we have the right behaviors. I have always personally felt that, it's your attitude and your mindset that actually, that actually can add value to the culture of your organization. And again, coming back to the hiring bit and bringing people into the company, I'm looking for values. I'm also looking for attitude and mindset. And I encourage people to have that self confidence, that mindset. In my experience, it's not about grade, it's not about job, it's not about title, it's not about experience. If you have the right attitude, you have the right mindset, you can achieve amazing things. The second piece of advice I give people coming back to ownership is develop yourself, right? Ensure you are continuously learning. Ensure you are trying to not just learn internally, but also learn externally. Building that external network is so very important. Finally, and this to me is extremely important, take time out to self-reflect, to adjust, to adapt. Old ways of working may not work anymore. You have to get to new ways of working, and you have to be in constant touch, with the developments outside, to ensure that, we are staying agile, we are staying innovative, right? So those would be my pieces of advice across.
Well, really interesting insights, I must say. So we've talked about safety, we've talked about values, leadership, and Smith's journey in India. I want to end this conversation by, asking you about your experience at Smiths. You've been with the organization for the past 5 years. What has your experience been like?
It's been absolutely fantastic. Right. I've seen Smith's detection triple in size over the last 5 years. I've seen Smith's Group double in size, more than double over the last, 5 years. I think if I define, what I feel very proud of, it's, the resilience that the employees have across the organization. What I also feel proud of is the work that each of the companies are doing in their own respective spaces. What I feel proud of is, despite the fact that across Smiths in India, we work in diverse industries from safety and security to general industry to energy to aerospace. There's a very, very clear focus on excellence, on unification of essentially the team, and finally on innovation, right? So we clearly are united by excellence. We are united by our pursuit to innovate for impact, and we keep pushing the boundaries every day. So I think just a high-level reflection. That's what I've seen. What I'm also very proud of over the last 5 years is our ability to serve our customers, and I think we have really made a lot of effort to improve customer service across the group. Good example in our detection business is the uptimes we maintain across our various service sites. We're maintaining uptimes above 99.5%, right?
Wow.
Which is actually very, very good and ensures that we keep sites safe and secure. The other piece that I would like to highlight is India being a fast growth geography. Clearly, India is a focus market for the group, and there's a strong commitment from the group leadership to ensure that they invest in India, and we ensure that we continue to invest in our people in India, right? Just to share with you, over the last 2 to 3 years, 20% of our workforce year on year of the 1,200 people go through some kind of a development class so that they can learn new skills to do their job better. Finally, we stay responsible in our communities. We have impacted over 1,500 lives from initiatives ranging from foster homes to education to healthcare, and in the last couple of years, sustainability. So we have recently formed a sustainability working council, very similar to the health, safety and wellness council that I talked about, and we are actually formulating an agenda to ensure we can support that broader ESG agenda across the group.
Safeguarding the people, safeguarding the environment. I think you're doing an incredible job out there. Thank you so much for joining me today. It was lovely chatting with you.
Thank you.